Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. Hi, I'm Karen Mashers, and today we have a wonderful soup for those evenings in the winter when you just want something that's yummy, yummy, yummy. It's English Gloucestershire cheese soup. And we'll have a salad that has a homemade sun-dried tomato vinaigrette. And for dessert, I've got walnut chocolate meringues. Fabulous and easy. Let's get started. Okay, for our soup, the first thing that we've got to do is I've got to put some butter into my pot. We need a medium-sized, fairly deep pot. Let's put this on low. I want that on low to begin with. Okay, our vegetables for this soup, nice hearty earthy vegetables. We've got leeks, a potato, a turnip, some julienne celery, and some carrots. So let's get these leeks going. Okay, what I'm going to do is I've washed them and taken off the outer leaves. And I am just going to give them a nice slice down the center. I'm going to take a double look and make sure that everything looks nice and clean. And it does. Alright, just cut these in half. And we're going to julienne them, and I'm going to turn them over so they're a little bit easier to do this. Now julienne is a nice, that's a little big leaf here, nice thin slices. And this is going to make our soup nice and hearty. Okay, this is all done. What a wonderful smell. You know it's from that onion family. And we're going to throw these right in with our butter and give it a stir, get that butter all around the bottom. I'm going to turn it up just a touch. Now that I've got those leeks in there, let me throw the carrots and the celery in too. In a way, it's like a vegetable cheese soup, but these vegetables add so much flavor. Okay, let's get some potato. Let's give it a quick. I'm going to peel the potato for this soup since it is a creamy cheese soup. Alright, I'm just going to take a little eye out here. And let's give it a quick rinse. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to cut it up in smaller pieces. Alright. Throw this in. Get the rest of it. And now it's time for our turnip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top off of the turnip. And you just want a small to medium-sized turnip. We're going to take that off. And I'm going to peel my turnip just the same way you'd peel an apple. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to give it a little rinse. And I don't think I need that anymore, so let's... The turnips are just a little tougher than a potato, so we'll cut them just about the same way. We're going to julienne them a little bit. Just remember, this is a country soup, sort of rustic, so you don't have to be 100% in the size of all this. I'm just going to give it a cut across, just shorten it up just a little bit, and let's throw all these in. It's a relatively fast soup to put together. You just have to wait till the end to finish it off. This is going to cook down for about 5 minutes till the vegetables start to get tender. Let's give it a nice stir. And take a look in that pot, all those beautiful colors. These vegetables smell absolutely phenomenal, and it's time for me to add a little bit of flour. Now I've got about 3 tablespoons, and I'm just gonna sprinkle some over the top. And I might not use it all right now. I'll thicken it again if I need to. But I want this flour to cook down so it doesn't make it lumpy. All right, let's go ahead and put the rest of this in. Grab a pot holder over here. Okay, things are looking good. We're going to get some garlic cloves ready, and I'm going to get 4 garlic cloves, and I'm just going to give them a good smash. Take off the peel. All right, let's give them a quick chop here. Now, just so you know, all the vegetables are going to be pulverized when we get ready to finish the soup. So if things aren't quite chopped down to your satisfaction, they'll all disappear when we get to the very end. All right, garlic in. All right, this is a bouquet garni, and it has some thyme, rosemary, and 1 bay leaf, and that's going to go right in the pot. And now it's time for our chicken stock. Just get that chicken stock in. What wonderful flavors. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And you might have to add a little bit more as we cook it, but we're going to start with 2. Ooh, smells phenomenal. Okay, we've got that going. And I'm just going to put a little more water here just in case. And it's time for a little salt and pepper. So let's grab some salt. And I'm using white pepper today. It doesn't show in the soup, but it is a pungent spice, and it does its job, so make sure you don't use too much. About 1/8 of a teaspoon will do in this nice big pot. Let's give it a stir. This is going to cook for another minute, and we're going to add our milk, because this is a milk and cream based soup with the dairy, the cheese. Those cows in England evidently make some really nice cheese, because this is Gloucester cheese soup, and we're not using Gloucester cheese. And the reason we are not is because it's very hard to find in the United States. You can get it, but it's very expensive. For 5 pounds, it's nearly $100. And I thought that was a little bit much. So we're using some yellow cheddar and some white cheddar. Okay. Let's come over here. I've got this grated. The yellow is grated, and we're going to just go ahead with the white, get it ready. This is white cheddar from Vermont. It's soft, and very creamy. Okay, I know I've got enough cheese, but I'm going to use some of this cheese to garnish with after the fact. We're just going to hold this cheese. Wanted to get everything ready. Let me see if my pot, oh, it's starting to boil. Okay, we've got some bubbles, and we're just going to let this go on low for about 45 minutes. So let me turn this to my low setting. I'm going to cover it up. Those vegetables are going to get nice and tender. We're going to have a word from our sponsor, and we'll be back after we clean up and get some salad in the works.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
All right, let's get ready to make our salad dressing. Now, the salad I've made is a really simple salad. I've just used spinach and cucumber, some wedge tomatoes, a little bit of red onion. Nice simple salad for a lovely fragrant dressing. Okay, I'm going to just chop this up real fast. Just want to give it a nice chop. My rosemary smells so good, you just know the dressing is going to be good. I think rosemary really puts you in the holiday spirit, especially in the kitchen. Okay, that's looking good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take about 2½ cups of apple cider. Not apple juice, apple cider. So make sure you look for the difference there. We're going to take 1½ cups of water, all in the food processor. I've got 1½ cups of sun-dried tomatoes, and you can see the oil, the spices, and if you put a little bit more in than 1½, it's okay. Just let it all go in. And I'm going to put in a ½ teaspoon of paprika. Give it a little bit of spice here. How easy is that? Okay, let me grab my top. Get this put on. And let her rip. Okay, everything looks nice and mixed up, but we're going to do it just a little bit more because I want a little bit more of those sun-dried tomatoes pulsed down a little bit more than that. All right, let's take a look. Now, we've still got some pieces of that sun-dried tomato in there, which is wonderful. Let's grab this and throw it on the sink side. I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of the fresh rosemary in here. And all I'm going to do is stir that around. Just want that to infuse, have those little bits of rosemary. And you know what? I never have enough rosemary, so I'm going to put a little bit in there. Just a little extra for me. All right, now I'm going to take a little taste. That is really, really good. Now, this is an option. You can put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I am going to put a little bit of each because just want that little bit coming through. Let's get some pepper. All right, just a little bit, and get my spoon back. Give it a little stir. And this recipe, I actually doubled. If you're going to make it at home just for your salad, then just half that recipe. But if you want to make a gift for somebody, and that's what I'm going to do, is grab my funnel here. Dave Gundrum helped me out last month when I had a little bit of surgery, and I thought that he might love to try this dressing. So we're going to get him a little bit. Now that needs to be pushed down sometimes because we've left pieces of that sun-dried tomato in there. Alright, getting that last little tiny bit in. And I think that Dave is going to love this. I've got a top for it that he can use this for olive oil or vinegar after the fact, because he's going to have to put that on the salad. Now, let's just pour just a touch in here. We're going to drizzle this over our salad. Festive look to it too. Get a little tiny bit of that sun-dried tomato. Doesn't that look great? Okay, let me check on my soup. Okay, I think we're just about ready to go to our next step on the soup. Okay, we're going to take this cream. I've got half a cup of heavy cream, and I'm going to slowly whisk this heavy cream in there. And I've got this on really low heat. And once we get all that in, we're going to let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. Just simmer. Okay, let's put that lid back on, and I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. Okay, I think that this is ready to take off of our fire. I'm going to turn this off right now, and I'm going to bring it over here. Now, that bouquet garni that we put in, I am going to remove that right now, and I'm going to try to get not too many vegetables with it. Let's put that in the trash. And I have a hand blender, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this right in the pot. If you want to put it in a food processor, if you don't have a hand blender, put it in a food processor, because we want all those vegetables blended completely. Alright, I think that's got it. This is a handy little tool. Okay, I'm going to put that right there. We're going to put this back over on the heat. I'm going to turn this back on low. And I want you to know I just got a facial. The steam from that soup is really something. Now, we're going to put in about 2 cups of cheese. But I can't help myself. I really like cheese, and I might put in just a little bit more. So I'm going to put in about a cup of my white, and I'm just going to sprinkle it all around the top. And let that start to melt. Now I want some of the orange, so I'm going to come underneath here. All right, looks beautiful. I'm going to grab me a spoon, have a taste. am I going to have fun eating this? Okay, we've got just a few more minutes that this is going to be in the pot. I'm going to grab my bread. I have got 4 small rounds, and they're going in the oven. These I bought, and you can just bake these at home. It takes about 10 minutes to complete, and we're going to use that bread as our soup bowls. So let me clean up a little bit. We'll have a word from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to make our cookies. To make your bread bowl, insert your knife and make a cylindrical circle. Make sure you leave enough edge for it to become a bowl. Now we're going to cut around the edge. And with our fingers, peel the bread out. This is great to toast, to serve with your soups.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Charlotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. For over 25 years, the Holden Brothers Farm Market has specialized in the freshest locally grown produce on their 250 acres in Charlotte. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17 or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Welcome back. It's time for chocolate walnut meringues. And I'm going to start with egg whites. And I've got 4 egg whites that I'm putting in a stainless steel bowl because it keeps it a little cooler. And you've just got to beat this until it comes up to soft peaks. Okay, I've got my eggs just a little foamy. I like to do that before I put my tartar in. We're putting in 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and we're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. Let's get this in real fast. These are all the things that smell like it's holiday time, believe me. Okay, got that. And now it's time to incorporate this to get soft peaks. All right, now take a look. You can see we've got soft peaks, and we're going to start adding our sugar. Now I've got 1 1/3 cups, and I've got to slowly let that into our mixture. Okay, take a look at how beautifully snow white the meringue is. Now let's run that one more time. Okay, I've got stiff peaks, and it's time for all the goodies now. Put that right there. I'm gonna put in 1 1/3 cups of chocolate chips. And I have taken some English walnuts, and I have pulsed them down to just very, very fine granules, and I'm going to put about half of this, maybe a little bit more, in with my chocolate chips. And I'm saving my walnuts for my topping. So all we're going to do is just gently incorporate the nuts and the chocolate chips in with the meringue. How easy was that? All it took is a little elbow grease to get those eggs whites to turn into meringue. Now, what I'm going to do is take a baking sheet, let you see this here. Take a baking sheet and my mixture, and I'm going to take about a tablespoon. You can make these smaller if you'd like, but I've got parchment paper, and I'm just going to spoon about a tablespoon of the mixture onto my baking sheet. If you make these smaller, you can get more on, but I like to make them a little bit larger. They need to be about 2 inches apart because they do spread out a little bit. This is real quick too. Okay, I'm just going to put this over here for a minute. I want to show you that on this specific cookie, I use the walnuts, and all you have to do is sprinkle a nice amount on top, good amount of walnuts. Okay, now, if you want to use this cookie during the holidays, get some peppermint pieces, and you can incorporate that into your topping too. Just sprinkle it right on top. If you want, you can do both together. It's all in the way you like it. Okay. All right, I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to put this batch in the oven. Goes 300 degrees for about 35 minutes for the tablespoon size. Just leave it in there, don't open it, and it's going to look beautiful. Around the edges, it'll be a golden brown, and we're going to have those for dessert. We're going to have a word from our sponsors. We're going to be back in just a few minutes to finish up our beautiful meal.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Thanks for joining us at the Coastal Kitchen. Hope you have a great holiday season. You can find all these recipes if you search for us on Facebook, the Coastal Kitchen. We have a great cheese soup in a bread bowl. We have salad with sun-dried tomatoes, and of course our walnut chocolate chip cookies. I have some wassail, and it's going to be on our website. The recipe you'll be able to find there, and wassail means good health to you. So join us again on the Coastal Kitchen. We'll see you next time.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Charlotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. For over 25 years, the Holden Brothers Farm Market has specialized in the freshest locally grown produce on their 250 acres in Charlotte. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17, or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATMC TV.